Oh my god. Oh my god. I didn't mean to like. Oh god. So are we live?
Yeah, believe we're live.
And then Merc's traffic want to come through. The speaker right in here is traffic all day. It doesn't want to come through now. But what's up, everybody? Welcome to Planet Xbox episode 55. Hoping to have a great show for you today. Some news came out. We got some things to talk about. A couple things. We got some side topics, but three major topics we're going to discuss today, and hope you guys enjoy. So, want to give a shout out to those of you piling up right now. Shout out to you guys. Halo Storm, Spider-Man 91 GT2. What's that? Like a combination of PlayStation exclusive? Hold on, my background is like beyond loud. Can you get?
And you hear me?
We can hear you, Jez. We can hear you. How you doing, Grimes McGarris?
I'm doing good. I'm good.
Your day's going good?
I'm feeling good. Wiz? Yeah, I couldn't get my I'm like going crazy right here with the setup here. All right, there we go.
What's wrong? You sound fine.
It was routing to a different microphone.
Oh, gotcha. That happened to me before. Matter of fact, do I sound okay? Let me see if my microphone is connected to the right one. Yeah.
An Addict. I got the I'm using the rigs. I tell you, those. I have the 800. I just got the 800. Man, those are great.
I got the cheap.
The Plantronic rig.
The cheap 500s. I think that's what they are. These are.
Yo, I'm telling you, man, those rigs, they're comfortable as hell. Yeah,
they are.
Those
are
nice.
They are. They're good. They're pretty good.
I returned those Turtle Beaches, man. Turtle Beach 700 stealth.
Yeah, Turtle Beach actually has been disappointing me with the last couple releases. Because I've went through 3 Turtle Beach headsets and I was like, all right, I'm not buying another pair, so that's why I bought the Platonics.
Exactly, man. That was my second
you guys
set of Turtle
try
Beaches.
the HyperX Clouds, bro. You got to try the HyperX Clouds.
Those two. I have the Cloud 2s. They're incredible as well.
And
the 800 is the best set that I've ever had.
This was my other pickup.
They're really good.
The classic.
Oh, does that screen
Nice.
do anything else besides? Does it do anything?
It's a button. It's the guide button, but all it does is just a logo. It just does the startup.
Does a boot up screen?
Yeah.
Oh, I got original Xbox for that. I can do that.
That's
on my
awesome.
original Xbox.
Yeah, but
That's pretty cool,
your original Xbox controller can't do it. So
Nah, I got an S control also too.
yeah,
So
but
I couldn't get into that Duke man.
like it's like I like it. I like it and I dislike it at the same time because I get like what you call it? My
Carpal tunnel.
Nostalgia.
no nostalgia for me because I
How
get
those
like,
black and white buttons, though, man? Like, what are those?
I was afraid that they would get in a way, but I haven't ran into a situation where they get in a way. I just don't. I hate how the buttons are slanted because if I'm trying to aim for A, I'm accidentally hitting like X, and I feel like because they're slanted, the buttons are slightly, I feel like, in the wrong place compared to what the traditional controller we got now is. So, but I felt justified once I made 2 people quit in NBA Live and I was using this controller because I was like, because I still had to look down and like make sure I'm like, oh, okay.
Are the black and white buttons like mapped to the LB and RB?
Yes, but you still have the LB options. They're just
nice.
They're right here.
Interesting.
But they still map. They're still mapped to the. It's just that you have pretty much having like 2 of those options. Whether you play, cause I was playing Halo 5 and I was doing the shoulder thrust shit with these buttons at first, and then I was like, all right, let me just use the bumper buttons.
Might be good for fighters.
I got a nostalgia question for everybody. What used to go in the top of that controller, that big space?
Wasn't there a memory card?
It was a 32. Yeah.
It was that
monstrous memory card.
Monstrous
8
memory
megabytes.
card, but you never needed one because I've never met anybody who Xbox ran out of memory.
Nope.
It was like
stole that idea too.
Yeah.
Well,
you know all their
ideas
ideas came from Dreamcast.
It was because you could. I think you could put your. Could you put your live ID on it, your gamer tag on that, or that was only the 360?
No,
that was the 360.
360.
You couldn't put your
360.
gamer tag on the on what? I don't
On
recall.
360, you could put 360 came out with a memory card at first. When they first came out, they had memory cards.
Oh yeah, they
You
did.
could put-
It was like a USB stick, right?
But it was on the console, right? It was.
No,
it was on the
it was like a
console.
little.
Mhm.
It was like a little plastic disc, a little clear,
Yep.
like
Yeah.
gray disc,
Yeah,
and you
I
could put
remember
your gamer tag on it. That was the whole thing. You put your gamer tag on it so that you could take it to another Xbox and plug it in, and basically you use your account.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I remember that.
Wow. Yo, hit that thumbs up.
It was
please.
the first time the arcade unit actually was the first time they started building small memory. That memory card was basically built into the hard driveless hard driveless system was the arcade.
Yeah, because that was the one that didn't come with the hard drive. I remember I was like when it was time to record, I was like, I'm not reserving that green box. I want the white box. Like I want because there was 2 boxes that you had the green box for the cheap one and then a white box for like the $400 one. That's the one that I got. But damn,
that thing was cool, man.
64 MB seemed like a long time ago.
Oh, yeah,
that's crazy. But shout out to the chat. Shout out to Boss Move, Yoko Kurama, Random Guy, Night. That's a funny way of going about it. Halo Storm. Everybody, please. So we got a good show for you guys. Let's start off with this whole IGN situation. I know a lot of you guys had a lot to say about it on Twitter. I didn't get really to react to it. Addict, I know you were like among the first 3 people that I've seen as far as videos go of a reaction to this. Explain to what happened, because I don't know the original content creator, Boomstick, and I never watched the IGN review. I didn't watch any of these people's reviews. I didn't watch Boomstick review or IGN's review until after the video was posted. So I want to know, like if anybody kind of have like a clear, kind of recollection of what happened, and then let us know your thoughts. So Addict, let's go.
So what happened is the PC version, the embargoes and everything listed a week before the console versions. So anyone that reviewed that game on PC, they could legally have it up before anyone that reviewed it on console. Well, the dude from IGN, Philip, he reviewed it for the Switch, I believe. I think it was the Switch. So he had to wait a week later. Well, I guess shout out to Dreamcast guy. He's friends with them, and apparently he was under pressure, which doesn't give an excuse, anything like that. But maybe because he was under pressure, he copied that dude, and it wasn't just like a little copy. It was like 2-3 sentences exact, and then like a word difference. 2-3 sentence difference. So it was clearly heavily expired by that particular YouTube video. Well, he woke up that day, he watched that video, which I don't know anyone, like, would it not be fair to assume that if anyone works for IGN, they're going to get seen like that? Like, if someone like me or Kid did that, there's a good chance we wouldn't get seen, but like, how are you going to do that when you post it on the official YouTube of IGN?
Yeah, Boomstick Gaming made a video where he did the comparison between his review and IGN's review, and
that's a call it out.
Yeah, and you literally have it like side by side, and he goes through it. I mean, and it's an obvious, like a complete obvious, almost
it's the
straight
same
up copy from what he had done.
Words, he twists the stuff around, yeah.
Yep.
But anyway, and what's funny is, it sucks this dude had his review taken, he had his words taken, all his hard work taken. But let's be 100. This dude got way more out of this situation than just he got the exchange. Yeah. Like he had his stuff stolen, but he grew like 15,000 subscribers.
Yeah, this had more of a positive effect on him than negative. You know what I mean?
He probably had $500 to $600 off of revenue on that YouTube video. It got like 400,000 views.
Yeah. Yeah, so that video went viral, and he has a Patreon 24 hours later. No. I mean, I would capitalize on that as well. I wish IGN or somebody. I wish I was talented enough for somebody to steal my shit as big as IGN or GamePass.
And you know what's funny?
And I can blow up.
How much you guys want to bet that? Because nothing's really happened yet. The only thing that happened is Philip did get let go from IGN. Wouldn't it be crazy if they hired Mr. Boomstick to take his place?
That would be crazy, but if I was him, Mr. Boomstick, I probably wouldn't do it.
left and right, so they got
they do private contracting. They do private contracting. I mean, it's clear that the dude did good work. If Philip is a very well respected person. He's a real respected person when it comes to stuff like that. So
he was.
Obviously, he knows how to make a good review. He knows how to do all of that stuff. So if he felt like his work was worthy enough to plagiarize, that dude he plagiarized is definitely at that level where he could work at IGN.
Yeah, most definitely.
I don't understand I understand IGN has contracts and stuff, but like it is kind of the slow season right now. So where are the celebrities of IGN? Like the Damon Hatfields, where are their reviews? Ryan McCaffrey. It's just gonna be him sitting at a desk with an Xbox soon. His whole friggin' team left.
Well, Atlanta Pierce just left too.
Well, IGN to me has
leave that thing gone.
Yeah, IGN is having a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems going on at IGN.
Yeah,
people don't even realize, like Jessica Choba, Atlanta Paris, what's the other female that left? Most of them are leaving.
Naomi
Kyle. Most of them left because of sexual harassment problems from Vincent Janito and a couple other people that are no longer there at IGN. IGN is a fucked up place. This is bottom line. IGN is a fucked up place. Nobody wants to say it. I don't know why people are sugarcoating this thing. And I've seen some things on Twitter from some people that used to work at IGN, and it kind of made me think to my head, like, this is what the fucking problem is. Excuse my language. This is what the fucking problem is to the world. Because what irritates me about the things I've seen is there's some people that have written who used to write on IGN who made some comments about, hey, he's a human. We make mistakes. That's not a fucking mistake. What he did was not a fucking mistake. So they're like, oh, it's sad we're not allowing room for people to make mistakes, learn from them, and allow them to grow as be humans. What he did, he intentionally did, and he knew. And then I've seen these people, which I won't name, who are like, oh, I don't understand this era of scalping, collecting, and celebrating people's downfall. It's just not how I was raised, and it's not in me. We need to take a constant reminder, take a step back and be bigger and realize that we're far from perfect in our own ways. Fuck that motherfucker. This is bullshit. Now I'm gonna tell you why. For you to say that, this motherfucker, this is the reason we have problems in politics. This is the reason we have problems in the police force, because nobody's fucking saying a thing, and then you want to say, we're human, we all make mistakes. That's not a fucking mistake. He knew what he was doing. People need to stop. Look, nobody's going out here to take this man's. Look, I don't think he should be attacked on Twitter. And that's what I think some of these people are referencing to. Like, don't go on Twitter and attack him. He's been punished. He's been fired. Okay, yes, I agree with that. But in the same avenue, don't say this is a mistake and he should be allowed, where people do make mistakes. What he did, unfortunately, was plagiarism. He understood what he was doing. And I don't look at this under the category of mistake. This is not a category of mistake. He knew what the fuck he was doing.
I feel like no one's been nice to this dude. Like, everyone's attacked him. Everyone's lashed out to him. No one just is letting this slide.
There's some people who directly work with IGN.
People in every situation. You can't
attack
the minority when the majority is attacking him.
No, but I'm speaking.
They got rid of him pretty quick, man. I'm like within a day.
That directly work with IGN, and they're like, "Don't attack this dude." They need to go fuck themselves. That's why I don't follow them and I don't mess with them. This dude needs to be fucking put on a fucking pig pole, and hey, you fucking did this. You knew what the fuck you were doing. So I don't understand why people act like, "Oh, we should just poor guy." No, fuck that dude.
Man, bro.
It's the same thing. If someone because I'm passionate about this, it's the same thing. If somebody walks around in a military uniform and they act like they're a veteran, they've never served. That fucking pisses me off beyond belief. Because I fucking served for 20 years and retired. That pisses me off. It would be the same thing. That's not a fucking mistake. You knew what the fuck you were doing. It was intentional. So it's the same thing.
There goes my monetization.
I know, man. Going left over, like I've seen very few people defend this dude. Like, very few. Every 30 comments I see people attacking him, there's one that defends him. Like, no one is saying this dude was in the right to saying that.
No, I'm talking about the people who are defending him that work with him.
When you said the IGN thing, where they said, was it after they posted their that they're not working with him anymore? He was just a contract, right, for them. He just decided.
No, he was a big person in Nintendo. He had
podcast. Was he on that podcast?
He was the host of the podcast. He wasn't just a member of it. He was the host of it.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
That hurts him a lot. He's probably not going to get hands-on Smash Brothers before.
Yeah, the thing is, you know what? This situation. Let me explain. This situation had like kind of like a lot of positive effects. It only negatively affected two people: Philip, whose future he can't really get work anywhere else, and IGN's reputation. But it has helped Boomstick, and it helped Dead Cells because now everybody's looking for the game. That game got so much coverage.
Boomstick is way bigger because that. Boomstick is way bigger because that man decided to do that dumb shit.
Yeah. Yep. Like,
let's be real here. Like, if you would ask Boomstick and he didn't see any kind of repercussions, he would tell you he is glad it happened.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason that he decided to launch a Patreon 24 hours later. The dude literally grew 15,000 subs in a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the best thing that could have possibly happened to that man, is him stealing his review.
This morning, the game was actually number 2 on Steam on the charts, by the way.
All day today. It is good.
Well, see, I'm glad, though. That game's, getting positive reviewed. It deserved that extra spotlight.
Yeah. Speaking of that, let me try to see if I can get the game while we're at it.
Yeah, I apologize for all the
I saw that
profanity,
you.
I really do, but I just don't. I'm not going to defend this piece of crap. I'm sorry. and anybody
Frog, can you be because it feels like you have like there's something that you saw something that we didn't see. Like
I did see something, but I don't want to mention it because it's with somebody. It's what somebody who directly worked or used to work with IGN, and what they did was basically kind of defend this dude. Not even kind of verbatim, they defended him because they're like, "Well, people just need to let him be a human," and he made a mistake.
Well, who said
Stop. I'm not gonna say.
Go ahead.
I don't.
It's on Twitter. It's somebody
everyone else and everyone else's man.
It's also somebody on IGN that used to work for IGN. I don't particularly care for. And you guys heard me say.
Then if you don't care for him, why don't you name drop? Like, that makes no sense.
Well, you guys can go find it on Twitter.
It's not like you're trying to maintain a relationship or anything. Like, why you ain't telling us?
You guys have seen it on Twitter. I'm pretty sure you'll see it on Twitter.
And no, I have not seen this individual. I haven't seen anyone defend it like the way that you're claiming.
I have.
Who?
Why get silent?
I don't know. I'm waiting for Frog to name call.
If a Frog's trying to be respectful, I mean, I can respect that. I mean, but it apparently it bothers him, and I'm just curious to see.
Well, it bothers me because when people steal something from somebody, it doesn't matter if it's plagiarism. It doesn't matter if you steal my valor. It's bullcrap. Nobody can defend that. I don't care how much human you are. You know exactly what you're doing. That's what I'm saying. Anybody who sits there.
Are you speaking of Colin Moriarty?
Anybody who sits there and defends this guy and says we shouldn't go on we shouldn't scalp people. I'm like, bullshit. He deserves what he gets. He shouldn't work in the industry anymore.
He got exactly what he deserves. I don't understand where he didn't. I mean, he's out of the entire industry. He's not going to do any more publishing or any more coverage at all like that in the industry anymore.
Yeah, he may get clout on his own as a YouTuber. Because there's people that fly.
No, I think that's dead too.
No. He actually he probably can actually blow up on YouTube.
No, I think that's dead too.
Even though there's people, because people like negative news, doesn't mean just because he copied doesn't mean people hate it. People just like to be able to clown the big guys. People always want to take down IGN and the GameSpots. But if he can come up off this individual, because he knows he can't get another job, so he can easily come up off this for being infamous. Infamous is good publicity too. Like any publicity is good publicity.
Because the dude's got like 20,000 followers on Twitter, so.
All right, well, Jason Elliott trying to put up another challenge. I can't play Dark Souls. I'm sorry.
Wait, what?
No, Jason says I might fund a Kid Smooth Dark Souls remaster challenge. Give me some reasonable stipulations. have to.
There you go. You were just saying on Weapon Wheel you need. You're trying to get a card, man. There you go. Do it.
Again, I'm trying to give it an AVR card. That shit would be hard though. I would never get that card trying to play that game though, because I don't understand it.
Dude, that Dark Souls isn't that hard. The original one isn't that hard.
Yeah, but
you actually have a shield, kid. You can block shit.
Yeah, but
just do it, man.
We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later. I just want to get everybody's final thoughts before we move on. Jess, your thoughts on this IGN situation? Because I saw you tweet about it a couple of times. You made a couple jokes.
Oh yeah, I thought that was messed up. Yeah, I make my jokes, but yeah, I think that that guy is messed up. I did say that my review of IGN's review was a 0 out of 10. Too much of the copy button.
Too much.
Too much of the
copy button.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, that guy messed up. He shouldn't have done what he did.
You're not the only one.
I watched the guy, and he did his video and side by side, and he also he also supposedly did it with FIFA last year, FIFA 18. He did do it again. They said that he stole. It was a written review that time, and he basically took it word for word, changing his words around. Apparently, he did it last year. This one was more of a video one. Yeah.
Am I the only one that finds it like funny that game rated as high as like Skyrim and like the best rated games in history? Like, first off, how you give a game a 9.7? Like, where'd that 0.2 come from?
The game is really good. I don't know if it's like I won't rate games like relatively 10s and 9s. Like, it's a good game.
He probably didn't even complete the game because he played it on the Switch, right?
It didn't even seem like what's the word I'm looking for? That he had enough of his own words to validate he even played that game.
Because the thing is, that when you plagiarize, right? When it comes to like the only way I can think about it, right? If you for the energy for you to take the plagiarize, because the thing is, once you play the game, like I remember when I was doing the Gears of War 4 review, and I was like, man, I gotta hurry up and beat this game so I can be the first one to have it. When I was writing for Tick, right? And I was like, so I would start the review like as I was going through the game.
That's the reason a lot of people played on easy. Reviewing the game professionally.
Mm-hmm. I would stop after I was done with the game. I'll put my thoughts down on a piece of paper. Do it again, and it would be done until I had like 3 pages worth of stuff, and then I just started throwing out shit, and then I recorded. And I remember when I think freaking Kal-El, I think he edited like parts that I wanted in the my review, and I was upset because the edited got published before my initial one that I wrote published. I'm like, what the hell happened? And he was like, I had to edit it because of this, that, and the third. And I'm like, well, damn. But the thing is, I recall, like, I can't imagine getting through a game and then be like, all right, you know what? I don't know what to say, so I'm going to watch somebody else review it and say the same thing. I can't imagine doing that. I could think of doing that if I didn't complete the game and I didn't, like, or I didn't know how to explain the game. I can see myself getting ideas from other outlets that have reviewed the game. That's the only way I can put myself in a position if I didn't invest that time.
It's a huge possibility.
If I did not invest the time into it.
It's a huge possibility that could have ended this dude's career. He literally couldn't beat the game, so he copied someone.
Yeah, it's a possibility. The game's hard, isn't it? I tweeted out.
You only have one life. You only have one life.
Yeah, that's the reason. No wonder. I didn't buy it. Huh?
Have you played it?
No.
Oh no.
I'm
gonna say like it's not hard in the fact of like Dark Souls hard, but the thing is that it's almost like you got to look at it like each time you get you start the game, it's basically you're starting the game from the beginning.
Yeah, I can't do that. No.
You know, but what happens is that it randomizes the dungeon, so like you're not running through the same maps with the same enemies Bloodborne or something like that. So you're not just. It's not like, oh, here comes that guy again. It randomizes the dungeon. So like you're doing the same types of jumps and stuff, but the map is all completely different. So it's like a journey every single time to find.
I think
it's pretty cool.
I think there's a good chance he couldn't beat that game.
It's hard to beat it because it's like you gotta like run through it without dying.
Let me reply to Alex
like
PS.
Some of these dudes that never played none of these games, bro. Just like some of these dudes on YouTube.
Let me reply to Alex PS. He says the Forza review can't smooth whom, so I guess he's referring to. No, that review was not plagiarized. Sure, I had it early out, but the thing is, I couldn't plagiarize anybody because my review was out like one of the first ones out. So there was nobody to plagiarize, unfortunately. Just to give you a heads up, if you want to throw that out there.
I think he was talking about how.
He's talking about.
Yeah, I think he's talking about the percentage.
Yeah, the percentage. But the thing is, what I said was, I can understand. I can see right. If he didn't put the time into the game to come up with his own like thoughts, what would only drive you to do that if you really couldn't invest yourself into that game. Me, I can come up with that playing whether it's 3 hours, 6 hours, 18 hours into a game. I can calculate my own thoughts and tell you what I want to say or how I feel about that game for the time that I spent into it. So. Just to give you a heads up, does not count, no comparison.
But you're not answering an editor and stuff.
Well, let me ask this question.
I have to go through.
Let me ask this question. It's a two-part question. A, do you feel that sites like IGN, GameSpot, even people on YouTube, do you feel that you need to complete or they will complete a game to its fullest completion to review it? And B, do you really have to complete a game to review it?
Can I answer this?
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't feel
I
like
advise you not to answer this.
No, I'm gonna answer this question because I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Kiss my ass. Like, you know what I mean? If you don't, the thing is, I don't feel you. It depends on the type of game it is. Like, nobody's gonna tell me I need to finish Forza to its completion to tell you if I like the game or not. Like,
agree.
Kiss my ass.
Agree.
Like, for example,
I totally agree with you.
I feel like a review goes from beginning to end. I feel like a really bad ending can ruin the whole narrative, ruin the whole game. Like, I feel like
a shitty ending is not going to mess up a game for me. I'm sorry.
If
you enjoyed your time just for something, a narrative point. See, that's dumb. This is why the thing about story.
So I think it's totally different depending. If you're giving your opinion of a game, then you could play what you think is enough for you to determine the game.
Exactly.
If you're going to write a review that's going to be as a reference for people to buy the game or like to tell them what the content will be and what all the different options, then it's your obligation to complete the game to its fullest, to explore every single option of it so you could give a full rounded review if you're doing that. But if you're just saying, hey, I'm going to tell you what I think of the game, you might play it an hour or two and you'd be like, yeah, I could tell you I like it, I don't like it. And that's totally different. That's maybe not a review, but
yeah. This is why I started.
Hold up. Someone made a good point. This is Shadow of War's last chapter ruined the whole game. So if you played up to Shadow of War, that's a great game. But if you play the last chapter, you might not like it.
Time out. Hold on. A couple things I want to point out.
Like
you guys made me
first one,
my
right?
thought.
No, that's not in game. That's part of the game.
You maybe.
Well, I mean, but remember the end. Yeah, they didn't have like a whole like end game or the first one did or something like that. There was a problem with the end, how it ended. Was it the Shadow of War?
No, it was Shadow of War.
That was Shadow of War.
Here's the thing. If a game,
it was like a grind at the end, right?
If a game had you so invested, right, and something in the story feels like it ruined the experience with you in the story, then they did their job. A game shouldn't be knocked. If something happens in the story where, oh, I don't like it because this happened, they did their job. Bravo, you reacted. Like, you reacted to something they created.
Agree.
Like, how is that a problem? You know what I mean? If it ends on a cliffhanger, like, oh my god, the game sucks because it ended on a cliffhanger. No, you want to know what happens next. They left you wanting more. Like, how is that making a game bad? Now, for example, just one thing I can give. Like, for example, one thing I didn't like about Gears of War 4, right? Its campaign, right? Not because the story was fine. It was how some missions was based around the horde mode. Like, they would literally throw in the horde mechanic in the middle of a mission. It's like, what the fuck? I don't want to, like, I want traditional action, not this build a base and, that's But if it's something that happens in the story because somebody, it's like, no, I'm talking about like judging like story-based games because somebody said, the ending of a game.
Gameplay design to that game.
If it's gameplay related, sure, that's fine. But if it's something in the story, something happened in the story that made you feel a certain way, no, then they did their job. Just because you didn't like the outcome, that's like watching a series you're a fan of, and let's say your favorite character dies or the character you hate got his way and you didn't like that, doesn't make the show bad. You just didn't like what happened. Like, it doesn't.
I mean, that
But that could
last boss
affect
in
your
Gears of
overall
War 4
perception of the game.
was terrible, though, man. That definitely
Yes, that was
impacted the game
terrible.
for me.
You said what?
That last
That
boss
could-
in Gears of War 4 was terrible.
The last boss. I mean, why was he terrible? I mean,
Look,
I was
at the
expecting
end of the
something
day-
more epic, like something bigger. You know what I mean? And like for me, it was a letdown. Like
I thought it was like a
it
mid-game.
brought down what I thought about the game.
I mean, I thought Gears always had some like interesting like bosses. Like as far as like the big monsters they introduced and shit like that, I didn't have a problem with it. Like just going back to all the other Gears I played. I mean, who would you say was the best boss in a Gears game that you've ever fought against?
What was that last dude in Gears of War 2 that you're like in the chopper
Man, with
and
the
all that stuff?
dual with the dual chainsaw bow, yeah, that what the hell was his name?
that was way better than Gears of War ending.
I mean, yeah, he chases you like out of the cave, like out of the hive, and then like you're fighting him in the air and stuff like that. Yeah, that was an amazing battle.
I like.
I was so pissed to see him die too. I thought he was gonna carry over to 3.
No, you have to get the Locust Queen. You have to get the Queen in 3, Rick. Like
The full both of them at 3.
I mean, you know, I'm not a big. I don't really mess with the Mass Effect games, but a lot of people tell me the ending of Mass Effect 3 when it launched ruined the whole game for them. So, like, I really do think.
What?
You know what?
It was so bad they had to DLC it, like fix it.
Like,
I
I
would
really
say-
do think. I think you could give your opinion if you enjoyed the game, but if you want to do a full-fledged review, you got to beat it. There's just no way
It
around
depends
it.
on the type of game it is. I
Right.
like.
And I feel to some extent I agree and disagree, because like I agree maybe some of the end of the game, because you've built up, you know, it was one of the games as a trilogy, so now you've built upon this thing and you're with Shepard for all this time, and so I could understand why people may get pissed, because it's like it'd be like something epic like that happened in Halo, so I can understand. But on the flip side, like that, you're talking about like Mass Effect, you can put 60-70 hours in each one of those games. And I just look at reviewers and I'm like, I know there's some reviewers who are not, they're not putting 60-70 hours in these games. Even IGN said it. They expect their reviewers to play the game to completion, but it may not happen. So even IGN doesn't have that expectation. So I'm a realist that I can expect some of these companies are not going to review these games to completion. They're going to put a review up there, and you may get it and say, well, how did they come up with this? Because I didn't like XYZ part. I mean, I can play through a whole game and get to the end and say, wow, this is not what I expected. And this ending irritated me, but it's still not going to, you know, unless there's a groundbreaking bug in the game that just is, I'm still going to feel kind of the same way about it. Like the end is not really going to make me say, I hate this whole series now.
Yeah.
But they do those reviews in progress when they're trying
Right.
to get me for that. Like, you know, it's like these reviews in progress going on.
Yeah.
But it's like when they get the game, you know.
Me personally, I changed the way I'm like moving forward, like how I did like the crew review, because
Here's a question
Like I
for you
changed
guys
how
then.
I'm going to do my like pretty much my reviews, but
Here's a question for you guys then. Something like Destiny, can you review that without doing the raid?
Nah, I would say no, because it's an important part of the game. It's a separate part of the game.
But
actually,
I would say the ending's an important part of the game. So how can you review a game without playing the ending?
Well, like I said, it depends. Like Destiny is not a 70-hour game to completion. You can beat Destiny in 8 hours. So it's not one of those games that with Mass Effect you have no choice to put those hours in there. You're not going to.
But a lot of the times these people have these games a week and a half to 2 weeks before they come out.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I don't listen to IGN in the game spots. I listen to the guys who aren't here who actually play through the games, and I can wait a week or two. If I'm going to buy a game because I feel like it may do something good for me, I'm going to buy it regardless. But I do listen to people who are smaller YouTubers because I feel like, for me personally, these guys are more genuine. The reason I say that is because they're spending their money on the games, even if they get like ACG. Like Character ACG, he spends his money and he rebuys the games, even if he gets a code. And I listen to a lot of his reviews, and you know, he tells you straight up, like, look, I'm gonna play this game to completion, that he believes he plays on every difficulty, and he still buys a game and he gives away the game. And I respect that. I can respect somebody that does that. But I don't mess with the IGNs in the game spot because I believe these guys, man, look, they're not consumers like us. I don't fuck with them because they're not, excuse my language, I don't fuck with them because they're not a consumer like me. I don't look at the IGN and GameSpot and be like, ooh, I'm going to buy this because they said it. Fuck those guys. They're not buying that shit.
How are they not a consumer like you?
Because half the shit that, come on now, are you really going, come on, dude, you just, come on, man. IGN, and how they not a consumer like me?
Are they getting sent the codes, or are they going out there to GameSpot and Target and Walmart buying that shit? Come on, really, man?
Well,
really, man?
me
Stop.
and Kid
You know
is
they're
review.
getting sent the codes.
Me and Kid no, hold up, let me talk. Me and Kids reviewed games that people send us review codes for. Are we not consumers now?
Come on, dude. Stop with the stupidness.
No,
Stop with the
like,
bullshit. You know what I mean.
You
know
can't sit there and take 2 or 3 people and deem the whole.
2 or 3 people.
to me.
IGN is a fucking company. How you want to say 2?
Okay, tell me people. Tell me people. Tell me people.
Dude. Stop acting stupid. You
Tell
know
me
what the
people.
fuck I mean. Come on, man. You know what the fuck I mean.
You don't make no sense. Well, you can't sit here and bash the whole review company.
Clown, dude.
Just because you have an issue with IGN doesn't mean it's the whole thing.
Dude, I'm not just saying IGN. I'm talking about all these big websites. These motherfuckers aren't buying the games. They're not buying the consoles. They're getting this shit sent to the companies. When you go on their websites, you see the advertisements. You don't have to get advertisements on your fucking
the whole review company is.
Come on,
that's how the whole review company. That's how the entire
Metacritic, though.
Why don't you let me talk? Why don't you let me talk? That's how the entire review.
You say clown shit. That's some clown shit, dude. Stop acting stupid.
Man, you need to shut the hell up.
You know what the fuck I mean. Stop acting stupid, dude. Stop.
But you make no sense. You can't attack one section of people, but not the other.
Addict,
you need to stop getting personal. You need to stop getting personal.
No, I'm not being personal.
What's going on? What happened?
Clown, dude.
What happened?
Being a clown. Why are you acting like these guys?
No, why you want to? No, you need to stop your shit. That's what you need to do.
You need to stop. You need
what
to
happened,
man, dude?
No, this dude's gonna sit there and call me a clown because I'm asking your opinion. I'm asking.
No, I'm not a kid.
No one's calling you a kid. How's anyone calling you a kid? How did that even come into this conversation?
Man, look, dude, stop acting stupid. You know what the fuck I meant.
Come on.
You know what, man? I'm out of here.
No,
fuck this shit.
No,
we
have to. I have in the.
No, I'm out of here. I'll talk to you guys later.
No, come on. No, just stay on mute. Like, come on. Don't it's not that big of a deal. Like, how are we gonna have discussions? And when
that's a good question. Do call me a clown and shit. I'm out. Peace.
Hey, it is what it is, man.
All right. So, oh damn, that messes everything up because now this thing looks like all types of horrible. So let me look for another screen that we can
this is what I was trying to say. This is what I was trying to say. IGN, GameSpot, these companies are not buying these games like we are to review them. They're getting sent the codes and they're reviewing them. I don't know why anybody would sit here and act like they're not. Why are they acting like that? We know this is what's happening. We know they get sent stuff. They promote certain stuff on their websites. Like, why are we acting like this is a thing? Like they're the consumers like we are. They're not. I'm not even going to sit here and act like they're the same guy or girl who's out there doing the same thing I'm doing. They're not. They're not. I don't look at them. When I look at Smooth or whoever else is on YouTube, you guys are out there working your everyday jobs. You don't work at it. You're not working in a center and sitting there reviewing and playing games. You guys, when you play your games, you're genuinely the consumer. You are the consumer. These IGN cats, these GameSpot cats, these other cats, no, they're not the consumer like us. But they got a lot of money to back them to make it seem like that. I'm not going to sit here and act like, because half these clowns, man, they're biased. It's just the reality. So I'm not going to sit here and act like
they
it's
do
not,
they have the IGN first and stuff like that. Well, it is part of it is a business. Like, the reviewing is a business, Metacritic and getting your review out there. Like it is like a business. But like, I want the question is because I never was given games for a review and stuff like that. But do you feel like Smooth? I know you have it. Like, do you feel different like when you go out and go buy a game as opposed to when you ever review a game? Whether are you gonna like I would say do you feel that you would kind of tough it out more when you spent your money on it rather than when it's given to you and it's like, yo, this game's trash, I'm not dealing with it.
I mean, look, I'll give you my perspective. I mean, if I'm going out there and I kind of when it comes to game reviews, I don't really watch IGN or GameSpot or anybody like that. I very much rather prefer to watch the YouTuber like that, whether it's whoever it is, it doesn't matter because
those guys are good. I like them.
You know what I mean? I mean, for me, I just trust the guy that's gone out there and they've spent their own money. And you'll have certain guys on YouTube that you feel have a similar taste to yours or a similar opinion to yours. As far as games go, right? Everybody's got those 3, 4, 5, 6 YouTubers that you kind of count on their reviews, and you can kind of relate to what they like. And kind of like what Frog was saying, I kind of side with that in the sense of I don't really watch any of the big outlets at all when it comes to game reviews. I much rather trust those 5 or 6 sources of those guys that are probably smaller YouTubers that are spending their own cash on these games. I think because they got a vested interest in creating their review.
And into their own unique content, where IGN, like, they have editors, they have reviewers. There's a different layer of a wholly different thing.
I hate how these big companies try to make reviews sound like a damn science. Like, it's like, I mean, it's
like, I'm gonna tell you, when I listen to Dreamcast guy and I listen to stuff he puts into it, I have so much respect for guys like him. I can't look at IGN and say they don't do. One guy doesn't sit there and do all their stuff. And I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, man, this is you put so much hard work. I'm not saying they don't put work into it, but I'm saying IGN's the GameSpot, the big people, these big companies who are owned by big corporations. Look who IGN is owned by. They got money behind them. They're not out here buying these games like we are. When we talk about them, we have the passion about our consoles and our games. There's a reason, because we're the real consumers. They're pushing the momentum forward behind these things when people listen to the smaller channels. You know, I haven't messed with IGN since, I'm gonna be real, I haven't messed with IGN since I've been watching Weapon Wheel, since I have been watching Foxy UK, since I've been watching Dreamcast. Like, anybody, I found a whole new way to watch and listen to people talk about games, because I was like, this guy is doing the same thing.
You can't even stream them, like watch them on Twitch and stuff like that.
This guy or girl's busting their ass. They're working hard for their money. They got the same problems everybody, in a sense, people have, but they're going out there spending their hard-earned money on there, and they're taking the time to actually put their thought and process to it. Yeah. I respect that.
Look where Frog is coming from.
You want to get you're going to spend your hard-earned money to get the device to capture the content and all that other stuff. Like, you know, it's not just like you sit at a desk and it's like, here's the corporate game capture device, here's this. Like, you know, you actually investing in your own content, so you're gonna give a better, genuine feel to it, because you have money invested, your own personal money.
Yeah,
I definitely think that it is more genuine.
My bad.
Oh, yeah,
my bad. Go ahead. I was cutting you off. My bad.
Hey, I was just saying, like, you do feel more genuine. That's why YouTube, like, you know, it exists, and even Twitch streaming and stuff like that. Like, basically, those are they're kind of genuine. Now, when they get too big on Twitch or too big, then maybe they start getting the sponsorship and all that stuff. But the one point I did want to make before Merc goes is that this shit goes back further, back with Jeff Gerstmann. Remember the Assassin's Creed review, how he gave a bad review and they weren't going to give him the games anymore, and like he left GameSpot and started up his own thing with the whole review, and that it was he had to change his review score because he didn't want, like, they were like, well, we're not going to give you these games if you don't give us, because the publishers are just as bad too. You talk about IGN as the reviewer issuing the business deal on the publishing end, like, oh, this studio is going to, this website's going to give us a favorable review. We gave them the early access. Let's give them the copy early so those guys can get their review out first. These guys always shit on us, are really stringent. You know, let's not give a copy yet for those guys because they're going to drop our score. We want to get those good scores out there first. It's a entire business. It's a whole, but the review business is ridiculous. Like, and I think that's what Addict was trying to say. It is a business.
It is, but I mean, I always wanted to be like a reviewer, and I much respect to all the people that do it, like, and at the effort they do it. Like, I can't do it the way like these other guys can do it, and that's why I don't do them so often, but I try.
Hey, I just want to say something. You know, look, Game Addict, man. You know, I got nothing personal against you, man. I really don't. You know, if it sound personal, what you felt it did, and maybe some of it was a little personal, I apologize for that. I'm a better man to say I apologize. I'm wrong. You know, I shouldn't have lashed out at you. I guess probably it could have came off better, and it could have came off in a better way, and I could have spoken in a different way to you. It wasn't necessary, and I do apologize for that. It's not necessary. I ain't got no beef with Gaming Addict or nobody really in the community, except for Hard 8. Fuck that dude. But other than that, I don't really have anybody.
Damn! Like, come on! What?
Oh, you already know I don't. Hey, if I don't like somebody, I'm not that kind of dude. No,
hey, free smoke.
Nothing against Gaming Addict. I've never had anything against Gaming Addict. I like Gaming Addict.
Hey, the last couple.
We gotta call Frog segment the smokehouse.
Yeah, last couple episodes we've been handing out free smoke, man, all the time.
No, I have nothing wrong with anybody in Weapon Wheel. I have nothing wrong with anybody in most of the pod. It's just one dude I just don't like because he's a bully, and everybody knows that. But I mean, I'm going to say it. I have no qualms with saying it to his face. You know my house. You want my address? You let me know.
Yo,
there we go.
Is Addict coming back? Because
somebody hit him up in the DM. Hit him up in the DM.
Yeah, see, please.
No, I really don't have nothing against Addict, man. I shouldn't have went like that. It was a little bit overboard. I apologize for that.
Look, I mean, I think the point that was trying to get across is clear. Is that this is just another way of putting it. I think the small YouTuber that buys their own games, their vested interest is their own channel. So I trust a source like that more than a corporation. That their interest is based on either marketing or getting free stuff, keeping the business, the enterprise alive. Like their interest may not necessarily be the consumer. I think that's all that Frog was saying.
Exactly. And I should have said that.
And I should have said it that clicks, man. It's all the clicks.
And you actually had a great comparison there, Frog, with Dreamcast guy. That would be somebody I definitely listen to as far as games.
Mm-hmm. All right. So moving on, I got you know what else was popping today? This rumor about Microsoft acquiring Obsidian. This kind of just came out like out of nowhere. I thought I seen a link like on like YouTube. Well, from Twitter on YouTube, I think it was from Diller Gamer. I'm like, what is this? And so when I started seeing people tweet about this, I guess this came from Reset Error. There was, I guess the guy had a letter of intent to be acquired by Microsoft from Obsidian.
Obsidian, yeah.
All right, so can somebody enlighten me what's going on, like how this story unfolded? Because apparently when I work, I can't. I'm only able to like and retweet. I can't able to read and invest time in here. Who has like the majority scoop on this thing, an invested scoop?
Well, it was Reset Era found it. There was a guy on Reset Era that posted. Now he also posted about the Playground Games one. There was a similar form before about Playground Games, this intent to purchase, and basically it was one-sided. They didn't have like dual signatures on it, but basically it was basically Obsidian sent this out as their intent to be purchased, and it was to for Microsoft. And he said that he wasn't sure. These things do go around. I hear that they do go that's what it was writing, that they do. These things do flow around. They're not like a one-time deal that it guarantees something. But he's not super confident in this one. But he didn't want to. He just said chalk it up as a rumor right now. And basically we'll see where it goes from here. But he was very confident in the Playground Games one, but this one he was just putting out there is that it could be possible that they purchase Obsidian, but they were looking to get purchased. Now, if you just recall, Obsidian had that big issue back in the beginning with the Xbox One with that canceled game where they just canceled the game and early on. That was in Jason Schreider's book, Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, in the first chapter. And they did kind of, I think they made amends later on, but they just kind of fired everybody, laid them off because Microsoft just pulled the plug on the game. But they did make Knights of the Old Republic, and they did make the Fallout Vegas,
the best Fallout game that everybody claims, the best Fallout game out of I mean, that's what I hear. People. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure how true it is. I'm not that big of a Fallout fan at all. I'm not a Fallout fan at all. So,
it would be a good get.
Well, yeah, because obviously, if they're the makers behind, KOTOR 2, New Vegas, they did what they had work. Did work with Stick of Truth. Was it? Was it South Park, right? They also worked. What's the Pillars of Eternity?
Yeah.
They just did that. I mean, it would be nice. I feel like Microsoft should get whomever they should get. Addict's back. If Addict is back, then damn. Let's make this happen. Let me switch this. All right, you guys there?
Yeah, still here.
Yeah,
we're here.
All right. Damn, this thing. All right, boom. All right, so yeah, if they're gonna get them, hey, that's good. That is absolutely fine. I mean, there's other studios I think Microsoft should go out and get. I think they should go out and get some Japanese-based studios. I don't care. I don't think they need to try to build one from the ground up. I think they should just snatch what's there. And
it's Obsidian based. I gotta find out where they based.
They're Obsidian, I believe, is aren't they? Where are they? That's a good question. I gotta Google them.
Yeah, from what the games that Obsidian has worked on, I think if this happens, it's a great move for Microsoft.
I feel like Microsoft has to be in a position. They need enough studios, right, to be able to put out 4 games a year.
Consistent content, yeah.
You know what I mean? They have to have a big exclusive every quarter.
Yeah, but also I think if they're getting Obsidian, I think that Obsidian would handle most of their big RPG kind of flagship titles because that's what they kind of seem like they do. Those kind of action RPG kind of titles. Mm-hmm. So I would really like to see this happen. If it does, I wouldn't be opposed to
California, thanks, little by little.
Yeah,
we're in California.
It's better for gaming as a whole, especially for Microsoft and the Xbox division.
Alpha Protocol. Remember that game where it was like
before time, game before time.
It was that was a big game that they were making. It had all this decision making and all this other stuff. Like it was supposed to be like better than Mass Effect kind of decision stuff. Like it was like.
What if this equation, right? And they never got rid of because I wonder what if they could just resurrect the game that was canceled that they were working on.
You mean
Obsidian? Obsidian.
Oh, you're talking about the game they're working with Microsoft?
They were working on an exclusive.
That would be interesting.
This exclusive they were working on was actually never announced.
Stormbringer, something like that. Stormbringer.
Yeah, but the game was never announced, though, right?
It was never. Yeah, it was never announced. It was something.
It was in his,
well, from what I was reading, it was supposed to. It was such a big, ambitious project that it almost bankrupted them. So they had to, cancel it.
And they said they had to let go of this. Like Microsoft just said now. I don't know. I don't know what they're currently doing. They're just doing Pillars of Eternity, which I haven't played that game.
All right, so you can obviously this because remember we had these rumors like prior to E3, and then they were all came like a shit storm at E3. They gave us like not only just Playground, which we expected, but they gave us all the other studios, and the surprise was Ninja Theory, right? So Gamescom is the next year. When is Gamescom? Because I don't think I took any time off for it. Because last year's was so ass. When is
October?
it? August.
It's August the 23rd.
Yeah, end of August. Yeah.
End of August 23rd. What day does that fall on? I'm on vacation.
That's Thursday, I think.
Oh, good. All right. So, do you think Microsoft does as far as with the studio announcement, they do like a roundup and then just announce Obsidian, or do they give us another 4? What are your thoughts? So I want to know, just your raw thoughts. Addict, since you were gone and I don't think I got to talk to you a lot about this earlier today. What are your thoughts on this Obsidian rumor?
I would say 30-70 for being true. I've talked to people, no one's hearing anything about it, and I feel like we would hear some kind of rumors. Shit, I mean, these might be the start of the rumors. Supposedly, it happened before. The ink hasn't even dried. They're in terms of discussing. So, maybe that's something true. But to be honest with you, if they got it, it would be a good thing because they need that RPG. I feel like between them and that second studio for Playground and the Initiative, they can produce a lot of their single player orientated games. Yeah. And then they can rely on the rest of the studios for multiplayer.
Agree.
But I would prefer them to buy Mistwalker over Obsidian.
But what does Mistwalker put out in the last
Blue
10
Dragon.
years, though?
That
was years ago.
They went mobile. They went mobile.
But Microsoft has enough mobile style games, dog.
I don't want them to go mobile. Obviously, if they get lost.
But the thing is, I don't think Mistwalker did enough.
I want a Lost Odyssey 2 or a Blue Dragon 2 or.
Yeah, but I feel like those were the last relevant games they've made ever since. That's
the only games they've made.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't
realize you can realize every game they made has been really successful in review, right?
Yeah, but
they made arguably one of the best Wii games out there. It was The Last Story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. If I'm Microsoft, I'll contact Sega or Capcom.
I think it's harder for them to buy a Japanese studio.
No. I'm not asking for them like to buy.
Can't buy a publisher.
No, I'm not. That's what I'm talking about. To buy one of their lower performing studios. Like if Sega has a studio available or Capcom has a studio they want to unload, like they should buy Vancouver. Microsoft should go after Capcom Vancouver studio.
I thought they should have. I thought they should have bought the people who made Hitman.
Well, they'll struggle in about a year after this game release and shit ain't so hot. You know they.
No, Hitman did well, dude. The original Hitman was a lot of people. I haven't met one person that didn't.
People I'm not saying the game's gonna be whack, but it has to, like for it to sell. Like,
episodes. You know? People like the game.
IO Interactive. I mean, I don't know.
The thing, my whole thing with this whole Microsoft, Phil Spencer pimping out his money and stuff and buying these studios, it's like, I understand they need to build their first party, but like, make games with the studios that they have, like multiple games. Like those are big studios that they have. Like I'm just like, this whole shopping spree. I just don't know how much fruit it's gonna.
You like, really? I feel like you find like the negative in everything. Like I was like, how is it that they don't? At one point, we're literally arguing that they don't have enough first-party studios to make games, right? And now
we argue that they don't have games. I never said
they don't have games because they didn't have first-party studios to make games. We already know what 343 is doing. We already know what the Coalition is doing, and we know what Turn 10 is doing. So the fact that they're do you not think first-party studios?
Can we please not have the same argument again? Can we please not go down this road again?
I just don't understand how he finds like
my thing is like, so they buy 20 studios. Okay, like that's great, but what comes out of those studios?
Games.
I think what he's saying, Smooth, and because this is what I've heard people say before, and I don't know exactly who said this, but he's saying like kind of like what Naughty Dog did when they were working, because they're such a big studio, when they were working on. You know, when they were working on one game, they were doing The Last of Us. Like, and he was like, why doesn't 343 or, you know, these other studios who are just as big say, okay, we're going to work on the Halo, but then we're going to work on this side project here that nobody knows about. Like, take some of these studios and split them up.
I think Microsoft, instead of doing that, we're letting their studios, I think their direction is we're going to make other studios that specialize in one type of franchise. Like, I mean, it might, and then, you know, I think a lot of Sony's success with branching out. You know, they've obviously always gave their developers a lot of creative control, but I think what really they've always given creative control. But what Last of Us was the hit it was, they're like, let all the motherfuckers do whatever they want, because it showed Naughty Dog when they made The Last of Us, like they moved boulders. And I think that, would it be... I don't even know if we would see something like Horizon Zero Dawn if Naughty Dog wouldn't have hit like it was. If The Last of Us wouldn't have hit. Like, I don't know if they would have let, up until that point, they were... Naughty Dog was making Uncharted. But, Naughty Dog was making other games before then. But when you're in... I don't think they could have kept making Ratchet and Clank for...
They didn't make
that. They did Jack and Dexter.
I really feel like when they made Last of Us and it was such a big hit, Sony was like, maybe we let's let them make anything they want, because Naughty Dog proved everyone wrong. That and right now, Microsoft, they're letting the creators of Forza with that second studio make Fable. So Fable is a huge hit. Maybe they'll start letting other companies branch out. Like, I feel like Sony's had better luck with their first party developers because they're more veterans. They have better talent. They have better luck letting them make other IPs. I think
they manage their studios a lot better with production rather than what Microsoft has been doing. I don't think Microsoft has managed their studios very effectively. How they managed Rare, how they managed, even 343. The fact that we don't have any Halo content in 3 years, like, there should be something.
Now you want Halo content? Now you want Halo content? Like, the Halo Gears of War.
I never wanted Halo content. I've been saying I want the games for
at the end of the day, kid, like, I'd rather have Halo Gears than Forza than nothing at all for 2 years.
I agree, but But our peers on the other side said, all you got is Halo, Gears, and Forza. Now that we don't get them, you got nothing. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, it's like, I appreciate my Gears. I appreciate my Halo and my Forza.
Here's the thing. Back in the day, Halo, Gears, it wasn't even Forza. It was just Halo and Gears. That's all they needed.
Stable too.
Because a Halo was dropping and doing more numbers. I think they said at one point Halo 3 sold more copies than like the majority of the PS3 exclusives, like combined.
Yeah,
like when they dropped the Gears, it did crazy numbers. Back then, they didn't need anything else, and that kind of mindset fucked them over because they didn't need anything else. But then when we went into this next generation, if they would have dropped Halo 4. And it, Halo 4 and 5, and it would have been just as successful. Adapted, did better. Switching studios hurt them because obviously 343 is going to have a different vision.
Well, Halo 4 sold pretty well. Halo 4 was.
Well, I think
it's all right.
It sold pretty well.
Well, at the end of the day, I think Halo 4 was a trash game. I really do. I did not like Halo 4. Yeah, I think Halo 5 is good. I think, the story could have been a lot better. But for some reason, people want to say the whole game is trash for just the single player.
But the thing is, the story of Halo 5 wasn't actually bad. It just wasn't what people wanted. Like, people wanted a hunt for Master Chief. People wanted to hunt, but it still didn't make the actual story bad. What was wrong? What was so bad and corny about the actual story? What was cringeworthy?
I'll tell you right now, kid. I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you, it was the marketing they did in the game.
Yeah,
they painted an image that didn't happen.
Yep, because I wanted Spartan Locke to fight against. That's what
they did fight. It was about 5
minutes. We all know why they did it. Like, we all know why they did it. They were trying to conceal that Cortana was the main antagonist. Right. They were trying to conceil that, and it caught me off guard because I didn't expect that. I honestly think that
they made it like.
I honestly think Halo Infinite, because apparently Halo 6 or Infinite is going to be the continuation of what's going on in Halo 5, but it's going to be with a new engine. So I honestly think especially if they put Atriox from Halo Wars 2. They put the Flood in the mix.
You know what I hate about fucking. You know the thing I hate about the reactions I hate about like Halo. People be like, I didn't like the Prometheans. Okay, that's fine. But back before the Prometheans was there, I don't like the Flood. Now you want the Flood back, don't you?
People for some reason that don't like the Flood. I think the Flood is what made Halo.
I thought the Flood was good.
Yeah, the Flood is.
Flood. Without the Flood, mark my words. Without the Flood, Halo would not have shot up like the way it did.
Yeah, the Flood did change Halo. Even though I didn't like them, it did change.
Yo, so a question. I got a question. I want to interact with the chat right quick. Press 1 if you prefer Flood. Press 2 or type 2 if you prefer the Prometheans. That I don't care about the other
Prometheans are trash. Anyone that press 2 I'll block. Anyone that press 1
right now. I'm gonna give you all fucking one. Don't spam it.
Flood, get your bot out. Prometheans.
Get your bot out.
One.
Prometheans. And that Didac bitch. The fuck out of here. That was trash.
Prometheans had the weapons, so I like to use.
Man, get out of here, man!
Oh, you lucky man! I'm too, man. I'm gonna start blocking. I swear.
Whose man is that?
Yeah, but yeah, I
do like the Prometheans.
No. I like.
Well, did you like the Night Prometheans in 5 or the Prometheans in 4? Because the Prometheans in 4 sucked. They made them better in 5. The Knights were better in 5.
No, I didn't care for the Prometheans at all, but I didn't have a beef with the Flood. I enjoyed the Flood.
Think the issue with the Prometheans.
Damn, dog.
Shit, the Prometheans got him. They got him.
Spawned and died.
Yo, Addict,
you are totally right. Those fucking Prometheans, you don't know if they were dead or not. They will like die and then come back.
Yeah, the way they regenerated, yeah.
Oh my god, that annoyed the shit out of me. The weapons though were cool. Like how
I like the Promethean pistol. The Promethean pistol is beast.
Prometheans is a good.
Damn, we keep losing the Addict, man.
That's right, man. Whose man is this?
Yeah.
Prometheans. Now, did you like the Prometheans in 4 meds, or were they better in 5? Like 5, I think they balanced them better. 4, I just couldn't.
The Prometheans are trash and whatever they were in.
I can't even.
Yeah, Addict, you botting like hell.
Bot.
Yeah, I mean, all right, I want to just see if we have
Smooth. I just want to like what you got into the Halo thing.
Yeah,
it's just like Halo. I don't complain that it's just Halo, Gears, and Forza. I'm just like, you know, when I go back and like I said it last week, I was like, when I read the book, I was like, you know, we had Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo ODST, Halo Reach. Like we had expansions to Halo, like Halo games. It wasn't. It was awesome. Like we could get that sprinkled with like because I'm telling you, I don't think Sea of Thieves and State of Decay. I think we said this before. Like those games were to be the tentpole games this year.
Yeah,
like,
those games are not headliners. They should never be
but if you had like Halo 6 or Halo Infinite over the holiday, and you had Gears coming this year, and Sea of Thieves comes out in the spring, I wouldn't feel that bad. I'll be like, you know what, it is what it is.
Yeah, but when
you get bad ones,
when your fillers become your headliners, that becomes that does become a problem. That's where Xbox started. Like for example, 2017 had actually just a lot of fillers. 2018, a lot of fillers.
Well, I think that the biggest issue we're having, like I've said multiple times, 2017 wouldn't have been bad if the timed exclusive weren't. Like at the end of the day, Sony's just getting way more timed exclusives than Microsoft, and it's
long time
making that appear that they have. Yeah, it's just making that appear that they got so many more games. You go into GameStop, there's going to be a lot of cases to this day that says only on PlayStation. Yeah. Like it gives that perception.
The thing is about damn, what the hell? I lost my train of thought. Fuck, I lost my train of thought.
And also, Sony got gag orders on all those people that make games for them, and they don't tell them when.
They don't tell them shit. Oh, they're like, no. We will not confirm if this is.
We got their snipers out there.
Yeah.
That's the thing that Microsoft needs to get better on log.
Because people, everybody expects Microsoft to answer the question. Is this timed? Like, why does he got to answer the question, dog? Like, for real. Like,
Keely, man.
Yeah. All right.
I've always wondered that.
Yeah, thanks, Merc. Merc, are you actually in like a?
No, I'm actually in the car. That's why I'm trying to avoid hitting podcasts with a bunch of road noise all the time.
It's true though. Like Microsoft would have a press conference, announce some games, and then like the Jeff Keighley interview after will be a microphone in their mouth going. So when it's going to PlayStation, and it's like
Jeff Keighley would come up with his face as if he just freshly ejaculated. So,
is this
a time exclusive? Huh? Is this a time? So what's the exclusive? Behind this title, how'd you maintain? Why is this coming to the PlayStation? Like it's fucking like every time I see him, dude. I told you that man.
He said you see Jeff Keighley with a Kojima mic.
Yeah, it's just like every time I see Jeff Keighley, he reminds me of a dill pickle. Didn't we discuss this before? Like,
oh my god!
Oh, man. He's gonna be hyping up the Game Awards soon. Don't worry, Kojima's coming out party. Kojima's party now.
I just feel like Microsoft at the end of the day, like if you were to put a number, I think we've talked about this briefly on the games, the studios that announced, what studio you think's coming out first? What game?
Oh man. Whew. I'm gonna let Merc answer this first because I need some time to think. Who would come out first? Go ahead,
no, wait. I'm trying to get into the hotel, so pass me up.
All right.
Besides Forza Horizon 4, obviously that's coming out first.
I'm going to say Ninja Theory. You guys hear me?
Thinking. Well,
yeah.
I think Playground.
Well, because the second they've shown they can put out a game in 2 years. They've been doing it.
I think that RPG. I think Fable is going to come before all those studios.
You think it's going to come before Ninja Theory's game? Because Hellblade's been done. Hellblade's been done. So and they're ready. They started working on their game last July. I believe. Was it last July or was
I don't want them to come out with something too fast from those guys because it's not gonna. I don't know.
Yeah, they've been working on the game since last July. Their next generation game.
What?
Did they work on Hellblade though? It was like 5 years.
Everyone, calm down. No, I don't think it was that long. I think they worked on Hellblade for 3.
Yeah, and it took. And remember, Undead Labs told us
it was only.
Go ahead, my bad.
It was only like 17% of their whole studio too that made Hellblade.
Yep. Yeah,
only 20 people made Hellblade,
and it took Undead Labs. This probably ain't no surprise, but under 2 years to make State of Decay 2.
Yeah, I think Undead Labs is the next one
now, man. Undead Labs maybe would see a State of Decay 3. I don't think. I think they.
I've been told don't expect another State of Decay for at least 3.
Yeah. No, I'm not worried about that. I think Ninja Theory is going to be the first.
What bonded out was it? Did you at least
3 years?
I think Ninja Theory. Is going to be, and then it's going to be Playground's second Studios game, and then the initiative.
I think Ninja Theory's game is going to get announced next year at E3.
Yeah.
And it's going to come out in 2020.
I think Fable will get announced next E3 with gameplay.
I think that's coming out.
I think Fable's going to get announced next year, but not with gameplay, but with like an engine like CGI trailer. You know what I mean? Like
I think it's going to be gameplay.
You think it's going to be gameplay? They're still fucking hiring.
I have a huge feeling that game's coming out in 2020.
They're not having a press conference at Gamescom, right? So they're not. They could say Fable. Like
they won't do that at Gamescom. Nah.
I think they might announce Recore 2 at Gamescom.
Yeah, and the purchase of Armature Studios. They're probably going to buy that. You don't think they're going to buy? You don't think they're going to buy them?
Don't.
You don't think they're already going to give? Will they use the same studio to make Recore 2?
I hope not.
Well, I'm just saying.
They're
looking for more AA game. I don't know why, but I feel like if you're looking for a AA, look at Deck 13. Look at people that made Vampire. Look at Strange Brigade and shit like that. That's who I'm looking at. But
like, Don't Nod.
Yeah, I agree. Don't Nod and shit. Yeah, Don't Nod. Yeah, man. Like, come on. Like, that's who they should be looking at.
Those games from any of those guys, they're not coming next year. They might start trickling out. We might get names of what they're working on 2 years from now.
Yeah. So here's
the thing that you guys need to remember too. These deals take months and months and months to do. Mm-hmm. The negotiations take months and months before you even fill out a contract. It could have literally took 6 months to a year in making before these deals are even in place, because there's a lot of fine tuning things that have to be done.
Yeah.
And you see them moving the studios, like getting bigger studios, getting bigger, different move relocations to different buildings, stuff like that. So, before they settle down, board of where they're going to go with games and stuff like that.
Question: do you guys think what they have now is enough? The studios
will be once it goes into fruition. Because remember, how many studios does Sony got?
I think they're pretty close now.
If you think about it,
I think they're pretty close. But here's the thing:
Sony, I think, has 12. I think Sony has 12.
12 or 13. I think it's something like that.
I think Sony has worldwide. Sony did say they got Japan studios. They got the Japan studios. Microsoft don't have those, so they got the 3 studios from the 3 big regions. But they got 12 or 13 or something like that.
Microsoft just need to do their thing.
Look it up, kid. Yeah. Let's go over relevancy with studios. I would say Naughty Dog is definitely one of the best studios in the industry. It's definitely Sony's best studio. Microsoft doesn't have anything close to that quality. As of right now, Santa Monica is up there too. Microsoft don't have nothing to beat their quality either. What?
Huge, yeah. Santa Monica is up there too, yeah. Santa Monica makes but the thing is, though, I'm gonna say, Addict. Santa Monica makes a lot of games than just God of War. They made a lot of games in between the God of Wars.
Mm-hmm.
But my question,
Sony has their studios pumping out multiple games.
My question to you guys is, when it comes to Sony studios, what studios they have that are actually relevant?
Guerrilla became relevant now, with Horizon. So they got the Horizon bandwagon for Horizon 2. And now with Spider-Man, now you got Insomniac now became a thing.
Because the only companies that I think Microsoft, I think 343 is relevant. I think Coalition's relevant.
343 Coalition and Turn 10 is relevant. All. Turn 10, you don't understand, but Turn 10 is relevant too, because they're even though racing isn't Among Us isn't the best, but I'm sure other racing studios in the industry look at Turn 10 like, damn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because if you look at all the other racing game genre, it's only one thing they do well. You know what I mean? So they probably have one thing down pat, but they don't quite got, like, for example, the people that do Project Cars, they got visuals on point, but everything else not good. Performance not good, right? You have what's the other game that comes out? Sony, when they put out like the GT Sports and the Drive Clubs, they'll come out and they'll have like a solid platform, but they're always lacking in content when they first launch, right?
See,
well, the other thing is, oh, go ahead.
Here's the thing that Matt said. So it's Sucker Punch, Naughty Dog, Santa Monica, Gorilla. So those 4 studios, I would say, is their best talent by far. That's the issue. Is Microsoft has nothing to fuck with all 4 of those studios. I won't go too much into Sucker Punch because they haven't really proven that game yet. Yeah. But at the end of the day, Infamous wasn't like Sucker. It was a good game. So.
Yeah,
Infamous was actually average.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is like the problem with Gran Turismo, and I think that we're seeing now, like, because I do play racing games, is like Forza. Not only does Gran Turismo come out with, I agree, with not as much content, but it takes so long for them to make those games. Yeah. And Forza is like a Call of Duty game. It comes out every single year. Either it's going to be the Horizon series or it's going to be a number series.
Well, it's 2 different studios making it. I'm pretty sure.
But what I'm saying is, like, they have a game.
Gran Turismo, they drop a game once a generation, and if that shit ain't good, then fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Do you guys feel like so many Forzas coming out, regardless what iteration, is kind of like low key makes Gran Turismo a little bit less relevant? Because like if you're like just strictly on consoles for sports, I mean sports and racing, I feel like. Are you going to wait a whole generation for Gran Turismo, or are you just going to get an Xbox and play a new iteration every 2 years of your favorite game, whether if it's Horizon or if it's
right? Yeah, because think about it. There's people that don't buy the other portions of Call of Duties. They only buy the Treyarchs and only the.
So I'm trying to say, like, this is what I'm trying to say. Like Japan Studio, like Sony Japan Studio, they got Ape Escape, Soul Sacrifice, Tokyo Jungle, Patapon, Loco Roco, Eco, Shadow of the Colossus, Gravity Rush. Like, that's coming out of that studio. Like, Gorilla had Killzone and Horizon Zero Dawn. Naughty Dog had Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter, Uncharted, The Last of Us.
If Microsoft was smart, they would buy that studio making all that shit for them. They would throw so much money at them and buy that studio because that would hurt.
Sly Koopa, Infamous, and now the Ghost of Tsushima. Like, I'm just saying, like, Sony has these studios and they're just pumping out multiple games. And I'm not saying all in a year or two, but like they have their studios pumping more out. So Microsoft just has 343. You make Halo. See you in 5 years. Like, yo, like
it's like I said. It's like
but we know that it's like it's hard to. It's like go ahead. I'm sorry, Addict.
It's like I was telling Kid from the start. Back in like 2014, 15, that's when Sony was making these games. And I said multiple times, you can ask Kid, I was like, they got till those games drop to do something. They let that window slide, and now they're getting stomped by exclusives. They did take the power narrative away from them. If they wouldn't have took the power narrative away, it would be way worse than it is.
Yeah, can you imagine, dog?
These studios have been around since 1999, 20. Like they have history.
Yeah, a lot of these studios that Sony for a long time are very old. Like, I mean, they've been around.
What are the studios like? What do they make? Like,
San Diego studio makes the MLB, which I wish that Microsoft would get their own sports basketball and baseball franchise.
I've been told by people that's actually
Sony Bend Studio was there from founded in '93, and they made like Siphon Filter. They made Uncharted Golden Abyss for the Vita.
Yeah, a lot of Sony studios were there before there was a PlayStation.
You know what's funny? When me and Lord Cognito went to E3 the first year I went, we had an exclusive thing with Days Gone. Yeah. We watched like behind the scenes shit, and then we were talking to a dev, and I kid you not, I was like, well, I've never heard of you guys. How long have you guys been? He's like, we've been with Sony since like the 90s. I'm like, dude, we felt like jackasses.
We never heard of you guys. Yeah.
All right, so
because they also have where's Supermassive? Like I see them, they made a lot of their games too. Like they made the
Supermassive made Until Dawn. I think that's a good studio too. But
party, I think I don't see them on their first party.
Oh wait, they also got Media Molecule.
Yeah, their dreams might get delayed. Yeah, they got London Studio. They make. Don't
London Studio do The Getaway or?
Yes, they made The Getaway, and they're making the next VR game for them, and then which is off The Getaway. That one looks
it's because at the end of the day, man, it's not even like Sony's first parties versus Microsoft's first parties. It's Sony's 4 studios versus Microsoft's whole company.
A bunch of games. Like the only studio I could see that runs like a Microsoft studio is Polyphony Digital. You just make one type of game, game in 5 years.
If Microsoft, the question isn't even the exclusives at this moment; it's the quality. Like, if they had, if Halo came out and it was a really good game and it was successful on every area, that would have did good. Gears,
to me, this Microsoft's team right now, they're not selfish enough because how I would have done it. Just me putting my business hat on. If I wanted to, what your outlook looks like and what you're going to be able to produce and put out. If I was in their shoes, and I would really, I was like, you know what? I know there's about 3 years before my next round of big games coming out because
that is a good point.
Yeah, I know there's some years. So what I'm doing a jackass move. I'm doing all those 1 year or those. Those short-term things that you guys hate. Yep. I'm buying every game that I'm like, you know what?
Yes.
I'm looking at those timed exclusives, and I am buying them shits all up until by the time those timed exclusive expires, about time those timed exclusive expires, my games are now already coming, and I'm good. Like the
Microsoft of the old would have done that.
Yeah.
Calm down. I little by little just made the best point that I think anyone could have ever made. The problem is that the majority of Microsoft studios use an Unreal Engine and Sony has in-house engines. I do think that's a huge issue. That's the reason their games are so much better.
Yeah,
they're using that on everything now. That's like their Frostbite now.
Yeah.
But Microsoft, they just made a new engine for Halo.
Yeah, so. And that's what they're probably.
That's going to be in the next Gears of War. I bet you'll be in the next Gears of War. Like they're going to use that engine, but yeah,
Gears of War is not is birth on Unreal. They will always use Unreal. You got to think about it. The makers of Gears, the Coalition was part of the Unreal Engine that made the original. Nah, they're not leaving that engine. Like if you notice, Gears of War was always one of the first games. That's not a reason. No, but the thing is, Gears of War titles have always been one of the first games to use the latest iteration of the Gears of War, the Unreal Engine.
Well, I definitely agree with you, but I think at the end of the day, the reason it was so relevant when Epic made it is because they made the engine. They knew everything about the engine.
Yeah, but the thing is, the people from the Coalition aren't like, they worked on the engines. Like it's not like they got a new team to work on Gears of War. These are people that worked on the engine, that worked on the original Gears of War title.
But they're not working on the engine anymore. They're not.
But they know how they know the specs around it. They don't just forget like how the engine works and how they further updates. Right? You know what I mean?
Fortnite's built on Unreal, I'm sure, right?
You said what? Fortnite, yeah, it's built on Unreal.
Yeah, it's built on Unreal. Yeah.
So they could just keep tweaking that engine. And they made the Gears was a big get for Microsoft because they really just had the IP. They didn't own Epic. Yeah. They just got Gears of War and got that partnership going, and they ran with it. That worked out for them. They didn't have to buy Epic to make Gears of War. That's what my whole initial point was, that they didn't have to buy Epic to have Gears of War. The buying is nice. That means they own it, and we get. It's just that they got to run the studios. I feel like that Sony is running studios. Just think about how many times have you seen a Microsoft Studio splash screen on the 360? It would always I remember tons of games would have.
That out of all the studios they bought, for some reason I don't know why, but I'm thinking Compulsion is going to surprise us the most. I don't know why, but for some reason, a part of me thinks they about to drop fire.
I have no clue.
They gotta get rid of that. They gotta release that the We Happy Few comes out next week, right?
I'm gonna see how We Happy Few is first, but the way We Happy Few looking now, man, it's looking good. It's looking
BioShock game. I know.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna jump into that. All right, so I got one more because it's getting kind of late, and I do want to close this out because I have this. This was gonna be a video, and it still may make a video if I can't get all my thoughts out together because this is unscripted, right? So, you guys know how the leak went with the next generation Xbox and Xbox Scarlet and all this other stuff. What if I told you guys, right, that one of the consoles, the cloud system, is a console that would be coming out next fall.
I could believe it.
I 100% agree with it.
I could believe it. Yeah.
And the reason why, well, go ahead. You get your point out. I'll tell you the reason why I think so.
Because the thing is, the cloud console, and this is the thing is exactly how last year's E3 went. You know how they talked about Project Scorpio, you know what I mean, at the end and stuff like that. And then at the end of this E3, they're talking about what they're doing with their cloud. That doesn't sound like something they're telling me for 2020. That's something they're telling me like pretty soon. Right? I'm sorry.
Last year. So yes, it would.
Yeah, that wasn't. That didn't seem like a 2020 message. It reminded me of a Project Scorpio message. Like, oh, this is going to be in the next 12 months, right? So the reason why, and everybody's pointing out, oh, next gen. I don't look at the Xbox Cloud console as an actual next generation console. I think this is another box they can literally drop for cheap that does everything our other Xboxes do, except it's just streaming, right? There's no games.
Can
I finish or no?
Oh, finish.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. There's no games that have to be made dedicated to this box at all. There's nothing. This box can technically release at any time without interrupting or interfering anything. So, for me, it looks like I can see this console coming easily in 2019, while the Scorpio follow-up is definitely 2020, since that might be something that would require some extra work in games dedicated to that console, whereas games dedicated to this console, no. And I feel like if their whole cloud platform, I feel like that's all coming 2019. Their dedicated box, and then the update to stream to your mobile phone or tablet, whatever. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's all like
right alongside Gears of War 5. Exactly. I totally agree.
Go ahead. No, I'm sorry, because you were trying to say something.
I just don't think that's it. Like, if they do that, I'm a little like unsure, because I feel like that might take away some of the hype from the actual console release. I don't know, like, once that comes out and it bombs, that's the last thing they need is like their cloud computing service not working correctly, and then they're just like a laughing stock again. Like,
you know what though? Ask yourself this: why would they launch that in conjunction with the next? With the next console?
That's a mistake.
It's exactly the reason why it should launch next year, is to avoid any confusion, and the next console, the next Xbox, has all the attention at that point.
I agree with you. Like, the best way to do it is to not announce. If they would do that, they would be announcing that
at the next E3.
Nah, I don't feel like it would be announced at E3. I feel like it might, because I don't feel like they would waste that at E3.
Why hint
they would announce that at E3, and they'll do like they did with the S and the X. They'll probably start with the streaming console and end with like.
No, I feel like if they announce something like that, it's going to be its own event. Like, they're not going to want to like confuse customers. It's going to have its own event. I just don't see them putting it on E3, because then when are they going to announce the next Xbox? I feel like that's going to be announced next year at E3. I don't think they're going to announce
both may be announced at E3, but
they'll tease the next Xbox, and then the following E3 they'll show it.
Yeah.
At the following E3, 2020 E3. But I think my thing is, I really hope that next year's announcement is not the stream box.
The cloud console has already been pretty much teased at this year's E3, pretty much, right?
Like, the cloud streaming service.
The service, they don't even need they don't need the box. But the thing is, the box is what's really going to get ignited, because the thing is that the box is going to be able to show the best of its capabilities. And it's because then people are going to have it's all going to come at once. You have the cheap box, and then the option to subscribe to from like your mobile servers. I'm pretty sure it's going to come in one of these inside Xbox updates or something like that.
It's not going to be a big deal. I think the streaming app and where it's going to be played on is going to be the big deal. And they'll just have, we'll have a box come out too, that streams a service. And they'll just dump it out in the fall, something like that.
If the streaming service is successful, it would do really good for them. But part of me feels like, if anything, if they announce it at E3. I don't think they're going to announce the hardware. I think it's going to be one at E3, probably the streaming service at E3, and then next year before E3, they're going to have its own dedicated event to show that the next console is, and then at E3 they're going to show the games for that corresponding console, because I don't feel like the X is a different story. It was like a mid-generation tier. They didn't have to explain anything because it didn't really have any new features. It was the same thing, just slightly upgraded. Like a next-generation console is different. You have to give it its own shot.
But I don't know if you can look at the cloud console as a next-generation console.
Yeah, you're right.
I think I'm looking at it on other
not going to affect
Xbox
any.
device,
You're right. It's not going to affect anything going on because it's just another way to play. It's not going to have exclusive games on the streaming box. Like it's really just another way to play. So I can see them just saying,
I feel like that
app is available and we have a dedicated console out there for like 200 or whatever.
Part of me,
that's it.
Part of me feels like they would announce that at like a tech event.
No, they're gonna save everything for E3. You know that they save everything for friggin' E3.
I feel like
we'll see what they do.
But streaming, like I feel like they would announce that at a tech event.
Not be no Inside Xbox or Major Nelson's white gloves wiping that shit.
I just got this super gut feeling that, and also when they announce that, they're gonna announce because pretty soon, at some point, Game Pass. The streaming, the mobile, and this console all going to be announced. Like Game Pass is going to get a major update for streaming. It's going to get a major update. They're gonna announce that because that's what's going to be the push behind the streaming console. That has to happen. That the Game Pass streaming has to happen. So, and I feel like
seems like the natural progression.
Yeah, and I feel like all signs to me points to next year, like at least for the box. It just because you got to think about they're going to close out 2018. You know what I mean? They're going to have, and this is going to be the big push. Also, you got for their games that are coming next year. You got what? Gears 5,
Crackdown, quote unquote, maybe, and Gears 5.
Gears 5 is the game of the fall, and that the game they're going to use Gears 5 also to help push like console like quality streaming right through dude. It's next year. I'm sorry, it has to.
It is next year. They need a narrative for next year because those games that the studios they announced, they're not going to have games next year either.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to have Crackdown, and they're going to have another.
And I think it's safe to say Halo's not coming out next year either.
Oh no,
it's not. No, it's
coming out. Mike, this is what's going to be headlining. Is 2019 for Xbox is going to look like what 2018 was. They're going to give you like some like B-tiered fucking Battletoads game. Crackdown is going to be either a hit or miss, and then Gears of War is going to be the crown taker. You know what I mean? And we're not going to have a Forza game, unfortunately. There's not going to be a Forza game.
There'll be a Forza 8.
Nope. There won't be a Forza game.
I've been told by a lot of people that they're skipping next year.
I don't think we're going to get a Forza game next year. I think we're going to get, if we do, it's going to be, I don't know, a console port of Asphalt.
Miami Streets comes to console.
Or Miami Street. I think Turn 10, Playground, these studios are after that, because Gears 5 is going to be the transition game. Like, you know what I mean? Is to prepare us for the next generation console. It's going to be compatible with the streaming and everything, and it's going to have its capabilities for the next Xbox. But
and you know what's funny?
Because Turn 10 or Playground, they both have to launch. Turn 10 or Playground has to launch with the next Xbox. Like the console, the Project Scorpio follow-up.
You know what's funny? I think the perfect world, I think we're going to see. Like Microsoft's, it's like I said, I think their biggest priority right now is when they're launching that next Xbox and what it's launching with, and the way it's looking like Sony got good games. Like I think they're probably going to release with Horizon Zero Dawn, maybe Death Stranding. I don't know if that's going to be on PS4 or not, but I think the way it's looking, it's going to be Forza Motorsports 8. I think Fable. I don't know. Fable might be a year after that, and the maybe Compulsion's game. Like I would not be surprised if almost all the studios they bought, their next game comes out as a launch title.
I don't think they're gonna they wouldn't want to put out like fucking 10 launch games, dog.
Well, they're not gonna what I'm saying.
They're gonna bust a nut
within 6 months.
Yeah, I think within the first year, like I would say, I'd say who they launch with, they will bring out. It's gonna be Ninja Theory, the next Halo, and Turn 10's next game. Turn 10 and maybe Playground. They all could probably launch like right with the next box. You know what I mean? They want to put out at least 3
They'll launch with a racing game. Definitely launch.
I think the Initiatives game is going to come out the year after that holiday.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's Halo at launch at the new box, and you would imagine.
See, the thing we really need to wonder is if the next Xbox is going to be like when they release Halo Infinite. We're expecting it to be playing on everything. Yeah. If they say it's a launch title for Scarlet, it's got to be playable on the Xbox One. Like they're gonna have to have a version for that, or is it gonna be the same game?
This is where Xbox confused me. This is where it gets hard because this is really like it's just like I'm honestly, and I know I don't see. I honestly don't see a next generation Xbox. I really don't see
it, dude. I don't. I hope that
I see
that's not the way they go.
A new box,
I think that's
but
gonna be issues.
I'm just trying to figure out. I just don't understand how.
I'm gonna tell you how they're gonna do it. This box, those Xbox One X and Xbox One S are also gonna stream. They're gonna have the app on.
Yeah, that's probably the only way. Yeah, they can probably do it.
Then, if they do that, then they're kind of like competing with their own systems.
Yeah, they would defeat it would defeat the purpose of the streaming box. Because if those turn into streaming boxes, it defeats the purpose of
it's another option. And at the
they don't care about selling individual hardware anymore.
I'm sorry. I personally think that they're going to abandon the X and the S when the next gen comes out.
Those things are going to be gone.
You know why?
Oh, they can't. I think they're going to. That's the whole. No, they can't abandon it.
They can't.
No, I think they're going to abandon it.
I just don't think they. It's going to be hard.
Well, no, they made a promise that they made it. Well, see, here's the thing. Well, last Planet Xbox we talked, didn't they already start to go back on that?
Albert Pinello basically confirmed that their generation. Microsoft has backpedaled. There ain't going to be any generations going forward.
It's going to be like a cell phone.
Hey, remember,
they can accomplish.
It's going to be they got to show the incentive to buy the next console.
Hey, like, just remember, technically, your device is not used. If you can still use it to stream your games on that service that they're going to launch, is your Xbox One X a complete doorstop? Not really.
I think what they're going to do is I think the next Xbox is going to be 500. The streaming is going to be 2. If you want to play the stream, you have good internet, you can use that and stream the same games that powerful Xbox has. And the X and the S are, because let's be real, probably the first year and a half to 2, everything's coming out for both. You'll have very few games that's exclusive to the next Xbox and exclusive to the next PS4. Because that's exactly how this generation went. Then eventually they're going to drop the S and the X. Because if they don't, it's an issue. It's eventually going to be an issue.
Yeah, they got to make exclusive games for the end.
Yeah, they technically start next generation with 30 or 40 that can stream their games or whatnot.
And see, here's the thing. Like I told you guys, like even if Microsoft doesn't keep that mentality and they abandon that, and the next Xbox has exclusive games, which I think that's the way it's going. If Sony doesn't abide and do that backwards compatibility, they're going to have issues. They're going to have a lot of issues because it's really hard to market a system that you can play 3 generations of games on.
But if Sony shows the Horizon 2, God of War, next God of War, you got the games, it's going to give reasons to buy the 5.
It's going to give reasons to buy the 5, but
the thing is, I would be more. Most gamers would be more reluctant to upgrade to another Xbox if you still have all your games. You know what I mean?
Like the problem with the X right now, it's like I'm going my ass.
I feel like the next generation of Xbox needs to do 2 things. Obviously, every game natively needs to run on your console. But if the controllers work natively, with the new console, then it's like
I think the controllers. There's a good chance the controllers will go.
I don't know, man. It's hard. I gotta see. I'm struggling to try to picture out because what Microsoft have created for themselves. It's like kind of it makes it a me struggle to think. Well, how do they put out a next generation console, right? Like how do they do that? Because they kind of just set up this whole like platform of you either not being left behind and everything coming with you, you know? But like, how do you release an Xbox 2 and then have Xbox 2 exclusives? How does that work into your store? Or
gotta have exclusives just for that system.
See, or does this happen? Or does this happen, right? Because right now you can go into the Xbox store on your Xbox and there's PC games on there, but you just can't.
I get that, but I get that, but you know, what's the point in making new hardware when it's not being used?
That's the issue. Question.
that's the issue we're having now. Like, sure, the X runs a lot of games way better. There's no denying that. But games aren't made specifically for the X.
Yeah. And then, of course, there was no intentions to do that, which, I mean, because technically the X is a next generation console. If made it that way. Like, if Microsoft was smart, let's say Sony doesn't do that backwards compatibility, and these new studios they made, Phil Spencer got all his lines back the way it should, and if they start popping out good games, and Sony don't do that backwards compatibility, which I think there's a good chance they do. I think they'd be stupid if they didn't do it. At least PS4.
They're making moves.
They're because it's clear that they're doing something. Because they clearly see GamePass as a threat because they're trying to alter their own service to do what GamePass does.
Mm-hmm. Competition.
So. Yeah, they clearly see that that's a threat. They're trying to adapt because Sony has been doing digital before Microsoft, the whole streaming thing. Because Sony wants to go there. They just don't have the infrastructure to do it correctly.
Yeah. That's true. I mean,
I think there's only a couple companies in the world that can do it correctly.
Like, I think the games will be forward compatible. Like, I think they'll release the Scarlet. Yeah. Everything that you have in the X family and all that the Xbox One will move play better on the Scarlet. I don't think they do not have it goes the other way. Like, Scarlet games are not going to be playable on the X unless they make an X version of it.
Mm-hmm.
But see, that's a problem though. That's an issue because I'm telling you, if they do not have exclusive games for the next Xbox, and you're comparing games for the next Xbox, and you're comparing games for the next PlayStation, because I can guarantee you, Horizon Zero Dawn is going to be PS5 exclusive. I can guarantee you that. It's going to drop
the gauntlet. They're going to be like, Horizon 5, see you later, 80 million, 100 million people. You're going to go buy the PlayStation 5 to get Horizon 2.
Sony already said that they believe in generation. That's going to happen.
They're going to have a hard stop. So Microsoft, on the other hand, it's like, do you release Halo Infinite on a small install base on the Scarlet, like that you're just starting off of millions, or you're going to say, hey, 40 million, 50, 45 million, you got to go put Infinite on there. So now if you have Infinite on the Scarlet and this one, what's the incentive to buy the Scarlet?
I don't think Infinite will come out on the X or the S. I think you'll only be able to stream it
they're
on
not
the S
abandoning.
or the X.
No, man, they're not going to abandon whatever million that is.
No, because I think the X is probably capable of running Infinite, though. The X is probably capable. That's why I was like,
no, I think Infinite's going to come out on the X.
Well, let me ask you a question.
I think Infinite's coming out on the S too. I think Infinite's coming on the S.
Let me ask you a question. If you can only stream it right on the S or the X, do you feel you're being abandoned?
Streaming that shit. That's not.
Theoretically, your box is not used, and then that will also give you a reason to buy the new hardware.
I don't know, man. This is hard.
You might as well just not do it at all.
I'm not sure how this is going to, because like I said, I need to see. This is something I have to see, or I need some more fucking leaks to work with, because the cloud box is easy to explain. It's easier to introduce, right? Because it's not doing anything. The next generation Xbox is what confuses me, right? And it's dropping, no doubt, in 2020. It's dropping in 2020. Cloud box 2019. Mark my words. That's what happens.
I personally think that that Reaver Industries that came out, I think that was posted on the internet too soon, and they damage controlled that because there's too much coincidence for that not to be Fable related. You mean to tell me that coincidentally, as Fable, a Fable company in it called Fever Industries that coincidentally comes out in 2020 and it says open to the public? Explain to me the kind of, is it like a park? Like, why is it saying open to the public? Like, that kind of, like, open to customers, open for business on 2020? Why does it say open to the public? and it's coming out in 2020, and it's got the same symbol that Reaver Industries has. That's too many similarities to be, oh, this isn't Fable related.
I just can't see them taking their big games like Halo and Fable and going, these are Scarlet exclusives, only play them here, and abandon the 40 million or 50 million people.
This is why I look at the PC market and the
everywhere,
mobile
man.
market.
And they got the game on PC.
I don't think they're doing it. I don't think they're doing it to all of it. I think there's going to be like 1 or 2 games that's going to be the next Xbox exclusive, just like PS5 is going to have them. I think, if anything, if I were to put money on it, it would be that Forza that year, and it would be Fable or whatever, one of those games. I think that's what it would be. I don't think Halo. I think Halo's coming out for Xbox One too.
Both of them. Like they'll have a one version and they'll have a Scarlet version, and they'll just say like, there you go. But they're not going to take those games and say Scarlet like only.
They're going to have some games. I guarantee you. It's just like you didn't see Forza Motorsports 5 on the Xbox 360. You didn't see Dead Rising 3 on. Yeah. They're gonna have something that's exclusive to make them.
They got to, but they're all about games everywhere. Though,
but looking
man.
at them, I just don't. I think they took a liking to the mobile and the PC market. How they can, because they can literally have games available the way that they have the Xbox One built and their UWP platform built. Is like they can essentially do that. Have it where it's just forward and backwards compatibility, just that whatever platform you have is just going to be the best on that whatever platform. You know, I just don't know, man. It's hard to think, and maybe after some time, eventually games would just stop working on or aren't compatible for that console anymore. But that's like after with time, like the S will phase out, and then potentially the X will phase out. But about time that happened, and they'll be about ready to introduce the next fucking console after the
One thing I want to ask you guys: where the fuck is Ashton's release date?
Ashton below fucking. What about freaking the One Piece world game? That open world One Piece game. What about freaking world? What about World War 3? What about freaking World War Z? Like there's a bunch of games that I covered in my reactions. I'm like, where the hell are these games? Atomic Bomb. Where the hell is that?
You want my honest opinion? I would say a year, 2 years, Microsoft gonna own that company that made Ashton, because Ashton's looking better and better every time I see it.
If they were smart, they would have made that decision already.
Where is Below? My God, that game was like incognito for like 3 years, and then it showed up at E3, and now it's like.
We talked to the dev at PAX, and what did he say, kid? He said it was definitely coming out holiday this year.
Coming this year. It's
October. I thought, and it's gonna go Game Pass launch too.
Game Pass, both Ashton and Below are like Game Pass day one.
And me and Kid are gonna play a whole playthrough of Ashton.
Yeah, we'll do a whole playthrough. Yeah, we'll probably do that like completely live.
Tried to get a review copy for it, but you know how that shit goes.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get them on Planet Xbox, but I have to reach out to your publisher again because it's been a while. So, they did reply, but we'll see. But it's that time, guys. It's a bit late. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Look, we had like a great discussion. You know, shit went left, shit went right, but we got right back straight. So, you guys got anything to say before we head out? I'm starting to get back.
Yeah, I got something to say.
Sure.
I apologize to all the listeners for ticking out. I definitely overreacted. I'm not been in a good mood all day. I shouldn't have just bolted like that. I left the YouTube. I even I went complete left. I left the Planet X, the chat and Twitter. I did all that shit, dude.
Oh, you idiot! Now I gotta re-add you.
Yeah, I was just. It's just I've been in such a bad mood, been going through so much. It just set me off. Like Jez has went at me twice as hard than Frog did, and I didn't leave the podcast.
Hey. Wasn't me this time. I'm chill.
Yeah, I apologize, Frog.
Nah, I apologize too. We could have handled it differently. I have nothing to do. I have nothing but love for you guys. You guys are men. I respect you as men first and foremost, and we have the same hobby and we like the same things in life. We just want to see it be better. So there was no reason for me to come at you sideways, or anybody for that matter. I try not to do that. Even that's me personally. That's not a YouTube figure I am. That's just how I personally am in life. I never try to go at somebody sideways unless I really, 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 really just don't respect you. And there's really a couple of people in life I can say I just don't respect. But I respect all of you guys as men first and foremost. But we have the same passion, and so I think I could have took it and I could have took it back a step. I really could have.
I appreciate you guys doing that, manning up and apologizing.
Kumbaya here at Planet
Apologize to yourself.
It's just because it's Brock. If it was you, I would have said "fuck you, kid."
Oh, you me? Yeah, I have no tolerance. I am petty. I'm very petty. Very petty. I can be emotional sometimes, but I'm very petty. Merch. Anything?
Yo. Yeah. I'm here. I'm actually being so quiet on this podcast, but since I've been traveling, I didn't want to blister the podcast with my terrible mic quality. But I want to thank everybody for coming out, man. Yeah, I apprapprate that.
Did you make it there safe?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm actually in the hotel room.
Talking.
Yeah, I just want to make sure he made it to his destination safe.
Yeah. I'm here. I'm in the hotel room now.
Went from car to hotel.
No, hotel.
Shout out to Merc for abandoning me yesterday after our Final Gears match. I had to rank up by myself. Made to finally prestiged in Gears 4. So,
finally,
hey, we got a couple W's, man. We got a couple
W's. I was flipping shit, yo. Shout out to Coalition. They need to stop putting them hunchback ass locusts in the fucking game because they're a cheat too. Bullets just passing right by your fucking neck, yo. Like
if you guys would have heard, would have thought when a rant live stream. If you would have heard him going off about the day yesterday.
Oh man, Ferguson would have Rod Ferguson would have rolled in his grave.
Jez, you got anything going on that you want to?
Much, man. It's just been man. This is Jez 7780. What grinds my gears? Have my show on YouTube. Check it out over there. And not much going on. Just I do my weekly rants. Not too much going on. Streaming some VR games. Yo, I did play this crazy VR game called Pixel Rip 1989.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yo, I was showing it at the Frogs, man. You play with the controller and you basically play like a Game Boy, and you got to like hide it from the teacher as you're playing in VR. And you got to use like a spitball and like distract the teacher while you're trying to play the game. It's like a game within a game. It's friggin' awesome, man. It's all retro feel too.
It don't sound amazing, but it's probably one of the most impressive VR games I've seen in a long time. Very impressive.
Pixel Rip 1989. There's a lot of cool nostalgia stuff in it. But that's about it. Just stream some. I got some VR stuff I got streamed though. And but now it's been good. Follow me over on Twitter and YouTube.
All right. I didn't forget anybody, did I?
No, but I do have a question for you before we go. Yeah. Will you be playing, because I don't know this, because there's a beta coming up for Call of Duty. I really, really want to play with you on PlayStation. I know you're probably going to play on Xbox. I just want to play with you in Call of Duty. Now, not to see how good are you. I just want you to play with some people, because Jez played with us and Jez knew it was bananas. Like,
I listened to those. Let me say, Frogs was playing with his friends on there. It was like directly ripped from like an E3 conference of what you'll hear people playing games like, holy shit over there, oh my god, get him, go left, down, go. I swear, it was like people play games. I was like, holy shit.
I'd play it if I get a code. I don't want to pre-order the game.
It was hilarious, man.
Cancel the pre-order. Like, when's the next beta? Or the beta over?
September. September.
It's September. Well, there's another one coming up. I think August 13th. August 13th. What next week?
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I have to pre-order to get that beta?
I think this one may be open. I think it may be open, but if not, we'll find a way to get you in there. Definitely got to play with you. I think it'd be good for the streamers just to have you in there. It'll be interesting to see you play with some of the guys I play with. I think you'll change your mind of how you feel about it once you get in there and you start playing with people.
There ain't no way I'm changing my mind about Call of Duty.
No, look, you may not buy it, but you're gonna have. I guarantee.
I'll play it, but I'm horrible at Call of Duty. I don't know. It's just never been my cup of tea. But I'll play the beta. The last time I played the Call of Duty beta, I nearly I uninstalled the fucking game off my shit live on air.
Was it that bad?
It just drove me fucking nuts. The only reason why I bought World War II, I bought World War II for two reasons. Because it was enhanced on the Xbox One X and it had a campaign. It is like, all right, so I have a reason to like play. I can at least enjoy its visuals which wasn't much on
Kid wastes at least like $120 a year on shit because it's better on the Xbox.
Man.
But yeah, we'll try that out. Otherwise, I'm trying to get Planet Xbox some codes for Strange Brigade because I want to try that, and hopefully,
cool.
otherwise,
shout out to 3MG also. I played with him and his crew.
Otherwise, I mean, for the rest of this month, we got to start this Dead Space stream, and then after that, in September, I'm all NBA Live'd out and Tomb Raider and possibly some Spider-Man. So. Those are.
I do want to drop some news right here about GameStop is doing a trade-in for Xbox One X this month until the 8/28. You get $300 up to $300 for a PS4 Pro trade-in, and towards an Xbox One X, and then $250 for like a Switch, a Slim or Original or an S.
Nice.
To do that, and then 200 credit when you trade in an original Xbox to go get an Xbox One X.
Nice.
Go get your Xbox One X, people, and witness greatness. All right, all right, guys.
Enhancements.
Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, Xbox is the best box. I am the best bot. We'll see you guys next week, same time, same day. Best podcast that's ever on a Wednesday. Peace.
Facts.